Well, hello, and welcome to season 5 of the Holistic Financial Fitness series in collaboration with Mupo Entertainment. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. My first 4 seasons were dedicated to holistic mental fitness, bringing awareness of alternative solutions outside of our medical system that have been failing us for years, and I have shared my journey in previous episodes. So, with that, before I bring on my very, very special guest today, Dr. Tahir Hussain, if I may, if you'd like to connect with me, please scan the QR code, which will take you to my digital business card. So, as the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness, and as a certified holistic wellness coach, I am of the belief we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Holistic mental fitness as the focus of the 4 seasons, I said before, really address the physical, mental, emotional, and sometimes the spiritual aspects, but I never talked about finances. And walking into 2018, I walked away from the centralized medical system on my own holistic journey. But in 2022, I started to look to see if the same could happen with our broken centralized financial systems to travel a more holistic route. And guess what? I did find a number of options that are decentralized, allowing the consumer to have more control and better returns on reallocating some of their money. So finances today are really the number one stressor globally because most are working paycheck to paycheck and don't have enough in their bank accounts in the event of an emergency, even after working multiple jobs as a result of the global economy. And it's no exaggeration to describe stress, depression, anxiety, and the lack of finances as epidemics, literally the black plague of our modern times. So this interview series is very near and dear to my heart because we bring stories, we share stories of other people's journeys, and to bring awareness to individuals who are looking for alternative options. And we provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving again. So again, if you have any questions, scan the QR code. It will take you to my digital business card. And what we're going to do is, before I introduce my very special guest, we are going to take a quick commercial break. And for those that are interested, you can find this interview series in collaboration with Mupo Entertainment at mupo.com, or you can actually download the Mupo Entertainment app on Android or iPhone. We're actually seen in 144 countries, including Fire TV, Vimeo, and Roku. And we will be right back with Dr. Tahir.
You thought I was playing? Huh. I was playing? Huh.
Okay, we are back with Dr. Tahir Hussain, who is joining us from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He's an author, an international speaker, an entrepreneurial life and wealth coach, a real estate developer, just to list a few. And Dr. Tahir is a native of Dubai, the UAE, who came from a very humble family background and got his start in business at a very young age of 17. He's since then been unstoppable, and he is the founder of the Unstoppable Millionaire, an academy since 2015, with the book, The Unstoppable Millionaire, 9 Simple Steps to Stay Undefeated as well. A definite read for those of you who are watching and looking to expand in some amazing, amazing ways to growing from a personal and as well as a professional development perspective. So I'm humbled to call him a friend, colleague, and wealth coach. He has 2 favorite quotes that I really admire. Is it's in the moments of our decision, our destiny is shaped. Your past is not your potential. From any hour now, you can choose to liberate the future. And lastly, I was fortunate to interview Tahir in season 4 as Tahir Hussain, and since then the title Doctor has been added to that title. And so, welcome, Dr. Tahir Hussain, to season 5, episode 2 of Holistic Financial Fitness. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's such a delight to be back on your show, and I can't wait to get started and add some value to our audience today. Again, I'm humbled and honored to be back here, and thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time from your very busy schedule. So, before we jump into the questions, Dr. Tahir, please share with our viewers a little bit about who you are, and as well as just receiving a doctorate in entrepreneurship in business management.
So I was fortunate enough, and this was, I think, 30 or 40 days ago, to be nominated, awarded honorary doctorate in the world of entrepreneurship and business management through one of the academies in Singapore. It came to me as a surprise. I was recommended by a couple of my students and colleagues, which I wasn't aware of, and that was a very delightful surprise. And they gave me the award or the degree, which basically means that I don't need to go through any academic PhDs to do that because of my experience and what I've done in the
Mhm.
world of entrepreneurship and business. Uh, Huge honor, tremendous responsibility. A part of what they do is involved with United Nations in terms of charity programs, which we do as well. But that became one of the biggest things that has just recently happened to me, and I'm really honored. And that puts a lot of more responsibilities. That how
Mhm.
can we take the world of entrepreneurship and create so many more in the quickest possible way?
Right. Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's a true honor and a big, big achievement. So well deserved. So as a young boy, you were already programmed to be entrepreneurial. So share with the viewers a little of that journey leading you to becoming a millionaire in your 20s and bringing you up to today.
Thank you for that question. And I would say it was a struggle as a young boy who is 17 years old, who was told that academics is the only way forward. I grew up in a culture, family, where only when you get good grades you become successful in life. Till I went into the real world and started meeting people who not necessarily had good grades, but were making tons of money. For me, that was a starting point. That for me, in so many ways, as a 17-year-old kid, success equaled money for starters because it allows you
Right.
to have the time freedom and everything else that money gives you, right?
Sure.
So I was like, hey, but they're not academically educated. How are they doing it? So I knew there was more than one way. And one of the things, and I give credit to my parents for that, was I was always driven by achievement, whether it was academics, whether it was business. So I started going into business as if I went to school for the first time. I'm like, oh my,
Oh
I
yeah.
just thought there was a whole world out there, right? And I started taking notes and listening to people who were 10x, 20x, 1000x better than me. And when I say better than me, I mean financially in the world
Sure.
of business. It's hard to be in the same room as them, right? But once you get in that room, I was like, my God. And fast forward 17 is this is when it happened. I still remember meeting Tony Robbins for the first time in 2004 in London Excel. We did a walk on fire. And then, and I was 24 years old at that time, and at the age of 27, I became a millionaire through the real estate industry of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. How cool is that?
Well, that's awesome. Yes, and it's funny you say a number of these things about growing up, going to school, getting an education, getting a job. That model worked years and years and years ago. It's not working well today. As many of us know, I was to Tony Robbins walking on the fire myself. So, and attending his business mastery. And one of the things that I remember is that he talked about that circle of influence and who are the five people that are around you that can, elevate you and encourage you and motivate you to, stepping out of your comfort zone to get to that next level. And that is so important because that's been my journey. Who am I? Who am I with now? What am I getting from them? Am I growing? And if I'm not growing, then what's going on? Do I need to make some changes? So that's really opened up the eyes because I was a software engineer for 27 years. I did the robot scene. I wish I would have known sooner, but it is what it is. But now I'm an individual, as many other entrepreneurs, thinking for ourselves, not thinking with what they have told us to do. So, but focusing on your entrepreneurship, it's primarily been real estate, and I recall, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant with Robert Kiyosaki. He's an avid promoter of real estate. And what has made that so important to you along your journey?
Real estate was an area where I was new when I was 23 years old. And what I've realized over all these years, 2 decades of being in the industry, is that it is a bulletproof, eventually a recession proof industry if you understand the
Oh, yeah.
game of real estate. And I wish if I was an academics, I would have made it a mandatory and a compulsory class at some point of academics, because we all live in one. We are all either we are in one right now, or we are
Sure.
leasing one, correct? So human
Correct.
beings need real estate to live, businesses need real estate to operate, whether you do it from your home, whether you do it from your office. So real estate, as long as human beings are there, is never going to run out of business anyways. So said that, real estate, one of the biggest takeaways for me in real estate was, apart from being a hedge against inflation, apart from the appreciation you get because of weakening currencies and economies, it is also one of the biggest assets against which a bank or anyone else could lend you money. And
Right.
once you start understanding that, they won't do it if you are a doctor, an engineer, a professor, or a mathematician, or any of those
Sure.
academics, unless you've got your numbers right, unless you've got the asset right. And once you start understanding that there's no asset on the planet Earth against which you could borrow as much as 100% from a bank, from other investors, start realizing, oh my God, this is just,
Hmm.
it's a big aha moment. And of course, that requires teaching and training in so many
Right.
ways, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, real estate is here to stay. It will be here to the end of times. And as you said, it's an asset. It's a tangible asset. So, and real estate has evolved, from the cave days to where we are today. And you were actually introduced to the first company that is incorporating real estate, real tech, and direct sales, creating an international real estate fractional ownership opportunity to individuals, which is done through tokenization, utilizing the blockchain technology, which is where the future is going. Whether people believe it or like it or not, it is here to stay, and there are some really amazing benefits to blockchain. How is that going, and what are the key elements for people to look at um, with what we have to offer? And I say we because I was introduced to it last year, wishing it was several years ago, but I'm sealed the deal, and I'm happy and very, very excited about the future of not only for you, yourself, myself, the other community that is in this ecosystem, but for others who are out there who are looking for something different because they're not getting the returns in their current investments.
Great question, Jeffrey. So the challenge which a lot of people face in real estate, whether it's America, Europe, or any other part of the world, is that if you got the deal wrong, it's yours. And if you got the bank loans wrong and you bought it at the peak time, maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Your economy just collapsed, which was not even your fault.
Right.
Now what happens? So I believe that we are now living in that era where a lot of people who don't understand blockchain, I would recommend them to go and understand at least the basics of it. I
Sure.
don't think anyone in their right mind would say we understand 100% of it because it evolves so quickly. There's just so
Right.
much to it. It's like internet. If anyone said 20 years ago we understood internet itself it is still evolving till today with 5Gs
Exactly.
and so much going on. Same applies to blockchain. Blockchain is what internet was back in the late 90s. So real estate has allowed, because of blockchain, where we could come in and maximize, well, internationally in global
Right.
economies across individuals who have hundreds of years of experience. That was a hard thing to do before blockchain. So that's where we are going. So I'll give you a simple example. Think about having $100,000 and you could buy something in the town where you're in right now, hoping you're right, hoping you did your calculations, hoping your account is okay, the mortgages are okay, and hoping you're going to generate a positive cash flow at the end of the day, because
Right.
you're not generating a positive cash flow, then you're losing money every day. Then the same house or an office becomes a liability because you have to pay money. So anything that
Exactly.
takes money out of your pocket is a liability. Anything that puts money into your pocket is an asset. So write
That's
this
it.
down. If you didn't know, I just want to keep it simple, right? So
Mhm.
house is only an asset. And you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki, right? One of the first lessons when I was 24 or 25 years old, I learned was, and house is not an asset. And house is not an asset unless it puts money into your pocket. Because if it's taking
Right.
money out of your pocket, it is your bank's
Absolutely.
asset.
Right.
Think about this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very powerful, and I think that there are more and more people waking up to the reality of different options, but there's still so many out there that are looking. So, which is exciting for us because we have an opportunity to share some really unique information. And times change, things are evolving, and people need to evolve as time changes, because if they don't, they're going to be left behind, and it could be a serious detriment to them. So what we're going to do is take a 2-minute commercial break, and we will be right back with Dr. Tahir. Okay, we are back. And yes, that is Michelle Mupa, who is the CEO of Mupa Entertainment. And I actually was in New Jersey in July attending the red carpet, where I was honored and humbled to receive an award for Best Health and Wellness TV Series. So excited about that. So we are back and continuing with Dr. Tahir Hussain from Malaysia, and we're talking about international real estate fractional ownership. So, the Art of One, who is the company that we are aligned with, is the first to tokenize on the VREIT, creating the first tokenized real estate coin. Because we talked about digital currency, and this is the VREIT is the tokenized coin. So, what makes the Art of One so unique in this marketplace today that sets us aside from others? Because there's so much controversy out there today with the digital world. What sets us aside from the others?
A great question, Jeffrey, once again. And here's the challenge with the digital world. So let's start with that. First, the confusion and the complexity of it. And economics is very straightforward. And I'll basically teach the audience and ask them the same question. So an economy always flows through a certain aspect. We are the one of the great things that they did was they took a brick and mortar asset, commercial, residential land, hotels and resorts, you name it, right? And they tokenized it or fractionalized it in a way across 3 or 4 continents where you could leverage on the expertise of a company without worrying, how do I rent this asset out? Did I make the right deal? Will I make some profits or money in this deal without the headaches of real estate, and saying it's a one-stop shop, click, 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 it's done for you. Now, I won't get into the complexity of this because that would be a whole different training course within itself.
Sure,
But
sure,
imagine if you had, as I said, $100,000, and if you knew you could get that into 5 or 10 or 20 properties across the world, where someone else who has potentially hundreds of years of experience would go and rent it, build it, take care of it, has done the due diligence, has spent millions of dollars into buying it versus the 100,000 you have, and now you're playing the bigger game over here, and through the click of a button you could withdraw your dividends, your profits. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I would love that because I know the sweat and the blood that goes into building an asset,
oh yeah,
creating one as a developer myself back in Dubai. So why not? Why not be lazy and let someone else do it? Now, if we were having this conversation 3 years ago, I would say the concept is new, only time will tell. But fast forward 3 years, here we are. It's already happening. We are the one has taken the lead of making it happen. The first and the only company that has a token backed by a brick and mortar asset which has a dollar value, audited across the globe. And that is what makes
right,
this so
yeah.
special.
Yeah, you say, wouldn't that be nice if it happened? Well, it is happening, and that's what I'm excited about, because we talk about these tokenizations, and it's like those tokens are out in la la land, and it's like you can't touch them. But being in Dubai, I actually physically got to the site, looking at this. Okay, so I'm a fractional owner of the Paramount Hotel in Midtown Dubai. The JVT apartment complex is getting ready to be wrapped up and rented out, and I was physically there. So it's like I'm seeing this tangible real estate asset, which was really, really exciting. So, with finances being the number one stressor globally, do you have any last minute thoughts for our viewers who are, really struggling and looking for other ways outside of what they're currently doing, and that are wanting to have some better returns on what their, hard-earned money is trying to do today?
Absolutely, Jeff. That's a lovely question once again. So here's the thing. Here's my mantra around money and finances. I love doing what I'm passionate about, and that's what I do around the world. So let's say you make $250,000 in a year, and you're happy about it. Life is comfortable for you, perhaps in a year, right? Earned income.
Right.
Your goal should be how quickly can you have passive income that gives you $250,000 in a year. A passive income is an income where you don't have to work for money, the money works for you. As I
Correct.
was growing up, I thought it was a myth. I didn't even my rationale couldn't comprehend such a thing would exist. So you can
Sure.
imagine how badly we were influenced by the academics of the education where there was zero influence on passive income. But that's important because the day you start making your money work hard for you, and if that sustains your lifestyle, you become financially independent. I know the illusion of let's wear a Rolex, let's buy a Rolls Royce, and that's when we get financially independent. That's absolute BS, excuse my French, because financial independence means when your investments and whatever your money is working into works hard enough for you that it
Mhm.
generates a lifestyle with
Right.
zero earned income for you that makes you financially independent. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. Now, when we were talking about we are the one offers you a platform, a solid one because it's real estate backed, where you get an opportunity to
Mhm.
be at the pre-launch phase of this opportunity where you can come and look at it.
Right.
So if I could leverage on the biggest real estate tycoons in your city. So think of these beautiful projects in your city where you are, the people you admire and the companies who are doing fantastic job, right? Imagine if they offered you a share of their asset, you would be like, oh my God, I'm jumping in,
Yeah.
right? That's what we are doing with We Are the One right now.
Exactly.
At their expertise, by being lazy, to be honest, get onto the pre-launch ground floor entry level and make your money work hard for you. Why not?
Absolutely. And you use the word lifestyle, and that's what it's all about. With my holistic lifestyle from a physical and a mental perspective, I jumped out of that, centralized system that wasn't working for me. Same thing with the financial. The financial system, is not working for a majority. It is working for many, many people, but a majority are not getting the returns, which we were not getting the returns that we were hoping for and wanted. And so we decided, okay, well, we need to look at something. So we jumped from the centralized to a decentralized, which is what this opportunity has because it allows us to have more control of where we shift things over. So, with that, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be my guest today. You brought so much value. You're already changing the world. You've been changing the world for decades. You continue to do so. And, sharing more so about this holistic financial fitness. And again, people say, what do you mean holistic financial fitness? I say holistic. It's outside of the norm. It's outside of centralized, where centralized have rules and regulations that they have to follow. Decentralized is you have more options. And that's the way that I have embraced this. And this is how I'm encouraging other people to educate yourselves and be aware of the different choices that you really do have, because you do have choices. So, with that, for anybody who is, interested in getting a little bit more information about international real estate fractional ownership, scan the QR code on this page, because what it'll do is it will redirect you to a registration page, and you can select a date of a presentation, because there are presentations throughout 2023. Select a date that works for you, and you'll get a special invitation to that. And in August, I attended the Fortifying Future UAE Summit, learning more about international real estate fractional ownership. I spoke with many, many people that were there from all over the world, who said it was one of the best decisions that they have ever made to initially getting the information. Then once you get the information, you decide whether it's a good fit for you or not. And I was also directly asked by Waqas Suhail, the CEO of The Art of One, who actually I interviewed as my guest number one for this season of Holistic Financial Fitness. He asked me to take a lead role in opening up the U.S. market, which I humbly accepted. So who's interested in coming along the journey with me? So with that, remember, we all should be living an abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Lastly, holistic financial fitness is a new path to wealth, and we'll see you on the inside next time. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Tahir.
My pleasure. Thank you.